So I don't know if it's a mistake, but today I'm recording with the window open since it's 30 degrees outside. So yeah, I'll give it a go. The first day out shooting this week was pretty rainy, so I wanted to play with that aspect, trying to get pictures of people with their umbrella, trying to hide from the rain. Also, it was a Sunday around 7 a.m., so I knew that the streets would not be filled with people and they would not be very lively. The lens I'm using on my Fuji X-E4 is the 35mm f2, which makes roughly 52mm in full frame terms, and it's a very good focal length to shoot wider streets like the one we have in Hiroshima. It can also be good to get more like close-up shots of people if you are shooting in more busy, narrow streets. Since I had a little bit of reach with my 50mm equivalent, and also given the fact that the streets were quite empty, I wanted to get some pictures with one single human subject on the frame. I thought it could emphasize the feeling of loneliness and melancholia of these rainy days. What I also like in wet conditions is how the colors are popping, especially the greens. We all love shooting with perfect golden lights, but we have to appreciate how softer light can really put colors and texture to the forefront. For the second day I had quite a decent light for the first hour or so, but then it turned into a more like greyish kind of sky. With today's way of showing our images to the world, a lot of photographers have been a bit brainwashed with how they approach composing images, in particular the aspect ratio. I still see too many photographers using the portrait orientation as a default option, to the point that they really hold their camera in a particular way and choose cameras with screen that can facilitate that. I always find landscape orientation pictures to be a bit more scenic and cinematic, even if this word is a bit overused, but that's true. First, when shooting you should be a bit more conscious about what works best for the scene you have in front of you, and then decide whether you'll go for a portrait or landscape orientation. Then in post-production I also love and strongly encourage you to play a lot with different crops and different aspect ratio, going for 16:9, 2:1 or even 2.35:1 can really transform your pictures and give them a new life, a new feel that you did not really thought about in the original 3:2 crop. Going also tighter, 4:3 or squared can be an option. I got pictures that worked best at different aspect ratio during this second day of shooting, and that's really something I want you to keep in mind when shooting and editing as a whole part of the process to create your images. I'll wait for someone to go on this path. So today, since it's pretty cloudy and grey out there, I will focus more on colors because with this kind of weather, colors are popping a bit more, and probably on some details, and if I find any interesting characters, interesting people, and I'm not too shy, I'll try to take them also. Third and final day of shooting was also pretty grey, so I was not really lucky throughout the week. I headed to the city center of Hiroshima, and again it was not that busy since it was about 6:30 in the morning when I left home. I did not have rain to play with like day one, but this grey weather led me to look for interesting textures and colors. As I said before, they really are popping more in these conditions. I forgot to tell it before, but I used this 35mm f2 all throughout the 3 days of shooting. It was a really good thing to train my eye, train my brain to see and think in this 50mm focal length equivalent. Since coming back to Japan, I have a strong desire to reorganize my week to be able to fit more photography while keeping all the other things I do as much as possible. My YouTube channel talking about photography is my main thing now, but since I am doing all by myself, I spend a lot of time behind the computer, editing photos, videos and writing scripts. Then I play a big role in the household, doing all sorts of tasks like cleaning and cooking. I also value a lot the time I spent with my wife and her family here. The third important pillar in my life is staying in shape, and I've been taking care of that aspect of my life with running for the past 4 years. I used to go running almost every day of the week before, but now I decided to approach it with a less is more kind of mindset, running only once every 2 days, but being more structured about my training to still making a lot of progress, and actually even more than when I randomly run 6 or 7 days a week. With this new schedule, I have at least 3 days in the week where I can fit some photography, and I think it's really important to have some regular practice. I am sure it's more beneficial to go out 3 days for 2 hours rather than going all out for 2 days in a row and then being overwhelmed with the amount of editing left to do and just being tired of photography. With this more like marathon approach, you're also more likely to keep it for longer without getting off track. Just like anything, it can feel like a huge stone to move forward, but once you get it started, then it requires less efforts to keep it going. I had to question myself and my schedule to start again with a more solid base, and I can only encourage you to do the same. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you like the way my pictures and my video footage look, you can head over to my website where I sell my Lightroom presets and my LUTs. So, see you soon, bye!